Live from Southern California, this is the Jim Rome Show.
Welcome to the Jim Rome Show. I'm Jim Rome. Show is presented by FanDuel. My thanks to my pals at FanDuel. Great to be here. Great to have you here. What's going on? Oh, Alvy. I'm still knocking off some of that rust. I was off for 2 weeks. Happy Hump Day, Alvy. Happy Hump Day to everybody, but specifically, happy Hump Day to Alvy. Get up out of bed, Alvy.
Get out of Dodge.
Get out of bed, Alvy. You can get your hump on later. I know you already have. Hump Day, there he is, the master of the hump. If you're watching on the stream. All right, nice to have you here. We got a good show for you on Wednesday. Wednesday is always our biggest day of the week because we have the program, then we've got our podcast, which we push out after the program. It's a very good one. As always, how do I know? I've already done it. It's in the can. I'll tell you about that a little bit later on. All right, so really quickly off the very top, here's how you can engage. You can engage by the phones, 1-800-636-8686. You can engage on X. Hit me up at Jim Rome. You can engage by going to our YouTube channel where we stream live now. Jump up into the chat. That seems to be the favorite part or point of engagement right now. That could change, but right now, everybody's all about the chat. So you can go on over there. If you want to email me, you can still do that. Rome@haveatake.com. All right, so that's how you get involved. The interviews are as follows. The new head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, Micah Nori, joins me at 12:40. I've never spoken to him before. I'm looking forward to that. Coming up at the top of hour number 3, somebody I have spoken for or to before. Perform. Plenty of times. Levante David. So, Micah Nori, Levante David, ATP, podcast coming up later on today. Episode number 417. Former Packers executive, Andrew Brandt. You've heard him on the program. He's got a brand new book out. Now, sometimes when you hear that, you're like, oh, great. Another part of your summer book tour, Rome. Yeah, no, I don't have one of those. Anyway, books are good when they're well written and they're good anecdotally. My man's got hundreds of stories in this book. Good book, good stories. So you'll like that conversation. I know because I've already done it and I know what you like. So Andrew Brandt has got a brand new book and that conversation's already in the can. I'm going to push that out after the program. That's episode number 417 of the Jim Rome Podcast. All right, so all of those things, and where to start? You know me. I try to keep things very positive. I try to be upbeat. In fact, the further down the road I get, the more upbeat I want to be because hate is the new dopamine. I made that up. I believe that. Hate is the new dopamine, and I am not here to hate. I do not roll up in here every single day to be negative. For instance, yesterday, I actually credited the Home Run Derby for being at least a slight improvement. I might not be excited to watch any type of all-star game or event these days, but at least I keep an open mind and I give it a chance so I can do my job and give you an informed opinion. Which is why I have no choice today but to light the MLB All-Star Game on fire once again, because it was once again a gigantic waste of everybody's time. And believe me, I don't make up my mind what the take is before the game. I actually sit through the game. That's why I'm saying it was an incredible waste of time. Maybe the biggest waste of everybody's time ever. Boring as hell does not begin to do this justice. That might have been the single most boring baseball game ever played. For real. And it was the All-Star Game. Like, I wish I was kidding. I wish that was hyperbole.
For real.
But it's not, and I'm not. That was the definition of the word unwatchable. You know why it was unwatchable? Because there was nothing to see. What was there to like? The record-breaking 27 strikeouts in that game? Is that supposed to fire me up? Or the fact that the NL didn't get a single base runner past first? Was that supposed to keep me on the edge of my seat? You know the Midsummer Classic is a true Midsummer Classic when the MVP wins the MVP because of a single in the first inning. A ground ball up the middle in the first inning was enough to win Cody Bellinger the All-Star Game MVP. That's how that game went. But I guess we should actually be thankful that we got even that much action. Look, I'm all for dominant pitching performances, but that wasn't some dude out there carving other dudes. That was not some dude out there having the best day of his life. That was 11 different dudes for the American League all coming in and apparently having their best inning ever, their best out ever, their best pitch ever. Or way more likely, it was just a pathetic 3-hit showing from the NL. Either way, there wasn't a hell of a lot to see last night, was there? Either way, you got to give us a hell of a lot more than that. Let me put it to you another way. When some kids riding bikes around the outfield is the highlight of that game, then you know that game is pretty whack. A pretty awful game. That would definitely help. It would definitely help if Shohei played. Or if Aaron Judge was healthy, or if The Miz pitched, or Paul Skeens, or Cam Schlittler. I mean, there was a hell of a lot of talent out there last night, except it was missing. You could feel it. It made a difference. Then again, I'm sure none of those stars were thrilled to see arguably the best player who actually did play in that game get dotted, get drilled, and have to run right into the clubhouse for an X-ray. Thankfully, Junior Caminero is fine. He's expected to be in the lineup for the Rays on Friday. He said as much. But I can't imagine that brush with a fractured hand, and he was down for a long minute. I can't imagine that motivated any stars who already don't want to be there going forward. And unfortunately for baseball, an all-star game just isn't ever really going to feel like an all-star game if the biggest stars blow it off. Like, if they don't care, why should anybody else? And judging by the offensive performances last night, it's hard to tell if anybody actually did care. Like, is it really an all-star game if half the outs were strikeouts? Credit to the NL for really putting together the best possible lineup for striking out the most possible times. I mean, credit to the AL pitchers, I guess. But exactly no credit to the NL batters who set an all-star game record with 15 strikeouts. And like I said earlier, they didn't even get a runner in scoring position. Not even a runner in scoring position in an all-star game. Good job, good effort. So, was it really AL pitching dominance or was it NL batting inferiority? Yes. Here's my answer. It was actually just boredom and a big waste of time. I don't know if the AL arms were that dominant or the NL bats were that mediocre. I just know this. I was bored to tears watching it all play out. And I know I'm not the only one, because even the fans in attendance seemed to get bored and were leaving in mass by the 8th inning. And we're talking about Philly fan. I actually feel badly for Philly fan today. Philly fans showed up with all this awesome Philly fan energy this week, only to see what? Beloved Philly slugger get beat in the Derby, and then watch Philly starter give up 3 first-inning runs that clearly were going to last and stand up, and then take that loss last night while Schwarber, Harper, and Marsh were combined 0 for 5. Talk about a giant Philly flop. Again, when my feet hit the ground the morning after, I'm not here to hate. I'm not here to hate and talk about the decline of every all-star game. That's not exactly news. But this game used to be amazing. All right, look, I know that I'm an older head. I know I'm the boomer. But I actually do remember when this game was amazing. Granted, it was a long minute ago, but it was amazing. And I always go back to the same analogy that we all go back to. Who will ever forget Pete Rose effectively ending Ray Fosse's career by running him into the dugout in an All-Star game? Yeah, that was then and this is now, and this thing is broken. It is broken. And the proof is the biggest stars don't care. So if they don't care, why should anybody else? Now, here's the good news for Major League Baseball. You see, I'm that kind of guy. I always look for the silver lining. Here is the good news. They're not the only ones with a major problem. None of the All-Star games in any sport mean jack anymore and haven't. Not to the players, not to anybody. It's just that the MLB All-Star game has probably fallen the farthest. Now, I want to be that guy who points out a problem with a corresponding solution. I hate it when people are so quick to say, hey, that sucks. That's a problem, without suggesting a solution. Except I don't really have one. But you know what? It's not my job to fix it. It's not my job to fix it. I just know it's broken. Here is my advice to every league, especially baseball. You want your All-Star game to matter. Perform again.
My best advice to you?
My best advice to you? Make sure the biggest stars are there. Make sure the sports best are available to pitch and hit and play and run. There's a start. That's the bare minimum. If you can get the stars to actually play and actually care, then maybe you wouldn't need kids in e-bikes scooting around the outfield while the players awkwardly hold sparklers and everybody stands around in the dark listening to Ray Charles crying and saying it's the greatest thing ever. I mean, it actually was compared to the game. Look at that kid ride that bike. He's got that glove on his hand, man. That is so cool. 636-8686. Oh, that's done. No, I mean, the All-Star festivities, they're done. Thank goodness.
Now I'm done.
If you want to hit on any of that, I'm sure there's one or two that actually did enjoy it. And you know what? By the way, you're a better person than me. More power to you. I wish I were you. I wish I did enjoy it, but I'd be lying if I said I did. All right, some other things I want to get to. Powder! Powder, getting all powdery with it. What do you know? We still do not have any resolution to the investigation into Kawhi Leonard. Therefore, without resolution, we don't know whether or not the guy is going to the Raptors, staying with the Clippers, who's going to get penalized. Hey, Powder, tick, 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 tock, Powder. When are you going to figure this out? The season's going to start soon enough. Is the guy a Raptor? Is the guy a Clipper? Who's going to pay for this? Why is it taking so long? Is Ballmer in trouble? Is there another investigation? What's going on here, Powder? Hey, Powder. Hey, Powder, you see that? That's what's known as the sun. Look at it. Get some. No, remember when he was deified? Deified for running off Donald Sterling. And now nothing? How long could this take? Why is this investigation still going on? I'll tell you something else that's actually still going on, which is incredible. We're still talking about the U.S. men's national soccer team. I can't believe it. Let me tell you something. Number one, you're lucky I even talk about those bastards. This may be my final soccer take ever. I had a good run, didn't I? Man, I talked about it. I talked about it consistently. I talked about it intelligently. And it wasn't just the World Cup. It's because my guy, Greg Berhalter, was the coach of the team in the prior World Cup. I've actually been talking soccer for years. But based on what happened this time around and the way they all took a big dump in their pants and urinated down their leg and nobody's taking any ownership for it, and they're acting even worse than they played, if that's possible. This may, in fact, be the very last soccer take ever on this show. I think. We'll see. But my advice to anybody on that team, looking at you, Freeze, say less. Say less. I mean, I can't even believe what I'm hearing. So I'll get to that too. Once again, looking forward to a conversation with Micah Nori. He's got an incredible background, actually, that I'm eager to talk to him about. That's coming up at 12:40 or about 20 minutes from right now. Levante David, show favorite. He retired in March, and he will be joining us at the top of hour number 3. And you can engage any way you want. You know where to find me. I am not hard to find. Speaking of the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel is changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Not anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player is subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. I love that so much. So you're still in it until the final whistle because in matches like these, anything can happen, and now your bet can go the distance. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel. I love the app. I'm in it every single day. You should be too. Go to FanDuel.com/Rome and get started right now. FanDuel.com/Rome to get started right now.
21 plus, select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus, D.C., Kentucky, Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org Maryland. Visit Gambling Helpline, ma.org. Call 800-327-5050 Massachusetts. Call 1-8778-HOPE-NY New York. Call 1-8777-867 Louisiana.
You're listening to The Jim Rome Show.
I'm going to throw a bone to the old school so you don't think that I'm always just going right to the chat. And the chat's banging. The chat is so good. The chat's on our YouTube channel. So once again, I'm trying to educate y'all. We are live on YouTube, on our channel. It is the best way to consume this show or to watch this show on the internet. Now, again, if you're listening on terrestrial radio, great, because I'm still all about that. I'm a radio guy at heart, and we have Westwood One Sports, and that network continues to grow. And that's really important to me, really important to me. In fact, we did our bi-weekly call this morning, and there's some exciting things in the work. We are constantly chasing new stations. So if you're listening on terrestrial radio, awesome. If you're listening on Sirius XM, awesome. If you want to watch the program, we have all sorts of different platforms, but the newest platform is YouTube. The thing that makes YouTube different is the chat, the live chat element. It's fast, it's aggressive, and it's very clone friendly, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I don't want the other old school participants that don't want to go there to think that I've forgotten about them. So let me just go with the old school. This is not off chat. This, for instance, Rome. Last night's All-Star game looked like a clone stock. No one got beyond first base. Bo in the LBC. Heyo. Wore the daily diarrhea update. There is no daily diarrhea update, Bo. You know that.
Is the great equalizer.
At least not here.
Think about it.
There's no diarrhea beat.
Who the hell you are? It's coming.
Bo, if you want it, why don't you know what you do? You know what you do, Bo? If you want that, go find chat, jump in chat, and go find V. V will give you the daily diarrhea update, the DDU.
Diarrhea is the great.
You're not getting it from me. Finally, pimp.
Diarrhea.
I've been screaming from the rooftops, channeling an inner raging boomer about how damn harmful those idiot mobiles are. Going around circumventing all traffic signs, laws, pedestrians, cars, and anything else, all while on their phones and not a care or realization for the wake of harm caused until it's their dumbasses. Jason and TX. What do you mean finally? Like, nobody's ever pushed back on this? Yeah, we all hate them. I said it. They're ruining society. I'm just finally glad that these idiots' parents are being held accountable. Man, they're dangerous as hell. Little morons. I see them in my neighborhood. I see them in every neighborhood. Yeah, believe it or not, morons, you little punk asses, the rules of the road apply to you too. They wouldn't know it. Man, they're on the sidewalk, they're on the road, they're doing whatever the hell they want. Essentially, it is kind of ruining society. However, it could have saved the All-Star game. Put him out there in the outfield. Mark Nato, 303. Rome. The All-Star game is still fresh and it holds plenty of intrigue. Regards, Hard Knocks. Fair. Hard Knocks did used to rule until it jumped the shark, until it no longer worked.
Let's go to eat a goddamn snack.
Reminds me of the tour stops back in the day. They were amazing, but then it got too big. It got too big for itself because then there were only certain markets that could pull off a jungle tour stop back in the day. You had to have the venue, you had to have the infrastructure. Like everybody wanted it, but it got too big and it got too demanding. And then we found out there were only like a half a dozen markets. If we had, I don't know, back then, 250 stations, 300, whatever the number was, there was only a handful of markets that could pull it off. They kept coming up. And that's why I finally pulled the plug. We can't keep going back to the same places. It's kind of like Hard Knocks. You know, it was great while it lasted, but you can't keep going back to the same teams. And then all of a sudden, teams don't want to do it. And only certain teams are interesting. Totally Rexels. And again, none of this is off chat. This is all off email or X. I enjoyed the All-Star game. It allowed me to get 8 full hours of sleep without ZQL. I see you working, dude. Isn't that great? Isn't that great to get sleep without any help? Sleep without anything that messes with your brain chemistry? Now, I'm not saying that ZQL does. I just mean any kind of sleep aid. Hey, Rome, I totally enjoyed that game last night because I didn't watch one single second of it. Every MLB pitcher throws triple digits. Every hitter swings out his ass and rarely makes contact. It's completely unwatchable. Mike and the PDX. You know what's really interesting about that? That's not what that was last night. Well, the part about hitters swinging out their ass and rarely making contact, that's fair. But guys weren't all running it up there at triple digits. That's actually part of my complaint. The guys that do that were not available last night. Dear Jim, the MLB All-Star Game was basically the fat porn of sports. You don't want to watch it, but hey, it's on TV. Thanks, Paul in Albany. Unworked Canadian wildfires poisoning the skies over Albany. The fat porn of sports. You don't want to watch it, but hey, it's on TV. And finally, the National League players seemed very out of tune. Regards, Boys to Men. Jesse and Laverne. All right, so I just want to make sure that I started the show off by tipping my hat to the old school. None of that was chat. And I've got a ton of really good chat, but none of that was chat. Just so don't run up in here and say, what about us? What about us? We're not doing that, Rome. You forgot about us. We're the ones that made you. Yeah, I know. And I haven't forgotten about you, nor the fact that you made me. You see, I started with you. All right, in the meantime, if you want to use the phones, you have your number. If you want to hit me up on X, you know that works. If you want to get to the chat, I think you'll like it. Get into the chat on our YouTube channel. All I ask in return, like we've put this whole thing together at no small expense in terms of our resources, our energy, our cash. Can you just hit the sub button? Oh, you only have to hit it once. You can hit it once and never hit it again. It's not some daily deal. Just go to our YouTube channel, the Rome YouTube channel, and just hit subscribe, please. And then you never go looking for it. It will find you. It's done, and you don't have to worry about it ever again. But that would really help me a lot if you can do that. All right, when we come back, we'll talk some Portland Trail Blazer basketball. Micah Nori is their new head coach, first-year head coach. He is our guest on the other side of this.
You're listening to The Jim Rome Show.
That's true. I am Jim Rome. Great to be with you. Great to be here. Great to have you. All right, as promised, we are joined right now by the new head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers. He was hired on June 23rd. He spent the last 5 years as an assistant coach with the Minnesota Timberwolves. He also worked as an assistant coach with the Raptors, the Kings, the Nuggets, and the Pistons. We are joined right now by Micah Nori. Micah, great to meet you. Great to have you on the show. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Really good to have you. So let me ask you, you went directly from the Timberwolves, who made it to the second round of the playoffs, right into the spot where you are right now. So how much of a whirlwind has it been the last few weeks? And then what have your top priorities been since landing in Portland?
Yeah, I think the term drinking from a fire hose, I never knew what it really meant, but I do now. And but it's been great. The people in the program that we have in Portland been open with welcome arms. So the very first thing that I did was obviously meet the people in the building, but then connect with all the players in the roster. Did not have a draft pick this year, which I was probably one of the few people happy about that in Portland. So I knew exactly what the roster was going to look like essentially, and was able to connect with guys, get out to visit a few guys, and then be out here in Vegas with the young group and with our staff has been it's been great.
Micah Nori joining us. I like that. So now your name had been connected to a number of other openings in recent years. What did you find most intriguing about this opportunity?
Well, I think the one thing is the roster. You have a playoff team that for a first-time head coach to be able to take over a team that's been in the playoffs, and then you're adding essentially two all-stars in Ja Morant and Dame Lillard to that core. I think that you're able to pick up the baton that Tiago and his staff did, which they did a phenomenal job of leading this team last year. But when you have an opportunity to win, especially in a competitive West, it's a very intriguing opportunity.
Micah Nori joining us. You mentioned Ja Morant, so the team took a big swing last month when they made that deal for Ja Morant. What have your conversations with him been like since he joined the team, and where do you think his game is at this stage of his career?
I think that, he's still young, 26 years old. I think that he's finally healthy, fully healthy. And I think that he's ready for a new start and a fresh start. And when I met with him, I just told him just be the Ja that was the Ja 5 years ago that knocked us out in the first round 4-2 when I was with Minnesota. But he's excited. He's just looking to be part of the program and basically show everybody that he is still Ja Morant. And I think that at the most part, when he's healthy in the situation that we have with the group that we have, he's going to be able to put that on full display.
Micah, do you think, is he that guy when you say, hey, just be that guy that you were 5 years ago? Is he still that guy? Can he still be that guy?
I think there's no reason that he can't be. I believe that. I mean, still young at 26. And if he's healthy, there's very few guys in this league that can go where they want to go with the basketball at any time. And he's definitely one of them.
All right. So your professional journey to me is really amazing. Like, for those who do not know, you were a 3-sport high school athlete. You played college baseball at Indiana. You hit .305 for your career. That led to a stint as the Hoosiers hitting coach after you graduated. For those who do not know the story, Micah, how did you initially end up working in the NBA?
So all those things that you had just mentioned, that's exactly right. And then I was sitting in, just had got done with the year at grad school at Miami, Ohio, and Butch Carter, who's a very close family friend of ours and still remains so, was visiting us in Middletown, Ohio, sitting in the family room. And he said, what are you going to be doing? And I said, I'm not sure. I said, it's kind of a GA thing at Miami and that. And he said, well, do you want to come up and coach basketball with me, live with me, an intern? And I said, Butch, I've been hitting baseballs for the last 4 years. And he said, no problem. I can teach you the NBA game, this and that. So I was fortunate to live with Butch for 2 years. I thought I was going to be up there for those 2 years, and it's led to a 28-year career that it never would have got off the ground had it not been for Butch.
Yeah, I mean, that is the story, and that's the simplified version. But when he said to you, hey, come up here and be an intern, were you like, hell yeah, let's do this? Or were you more like, Butch, I'm a baseball guy. You know that, right? Like, what was your reaction?
I basically said the latter. I said, Butch, I'm a baseball guy. I've been hitting baseballs there for 4 years. And he said, at that time they had just drafted Vince Carter. And they still had Tracy McGrady, and they, so I was like, he said, we're not going to have you teaching Vince Carter how to shoot jump shots. It'd be more as an intern, you'd be putting together game plans and those type of things and being like a coach's assistant. And Butch was great. He was a night owl. He'd watch all kinds of film. And I just say, hey, Butch, I just want to learn this. So when you're watching film, I'd ask him a ton of questions. I say, could you just talk out loud? So I remember going through game plans, watching the Lakers back in the day with Glenn Rice, and we're going to force this and do that. And it was just essentially a crash course in NBA knowledge. And Butch is as good as they are as far as game prep and that. So it was a phenomenal start for anybody. And just to sit there and think where I've been able to get because of a lot of good people looking out for me, been very, very fortunate.
Micah Nori joining us. It's an amazing story, really. Like, you played high school or basketball, but you probably had to learn the NBA from scratch. I mean, from the very, very, very start. But when you started with him, did he tell you that, like, effectively, like, I'm going to learn how to scheme an X, no? Or did he say, you know what, actually, if you want to be successful in the NBA, it's not necessarily about X's and O's? What was his advice?
I think you're 100% correct. Coming into it, that's what I thought that the NBA was all X's and O's and how can you get guys shots and this and that. But at the end of the day, and what I'm finding out, it's 100% true now, is it's not necessarily X's and O's. It's about combinations, about relationships, about getting guys to play and play hard for 82 and playing together. So that's what I have found now. The other thing that Butch did for me, which was great, was he said, if you're going to learn the league, you need to go out and be an advanced scout. So essentially, I would be at our games with the Raptors, and then on those off days, I would go out and watch opponents getting ready for those preps. Like if we were going to play on a Tuesday night, we'd play. Wednesday, I'd go to Detroit and watch them play Cleveland. Then Thursday, we'd play Cleveland and so it was a whirlwind, but it was a crash course. Again, I know I keep saying that, but you get to watch the best coaches in the world, the Popoviches and all these guys, and Pat Riley's, how they control a huddle, what they're doing. And you can kind of see how coaching is in game and all that from all these other things. So I think advanced scouting really helped me to learn the league and to go from there.
You know, so you mentioned some of the legends of the game. I would also say, Micah, this is a big Chris Finch house. I love the guy. I think he's a hell of a coach. What is his separation, and what were your biggest takeaways from the time you spent working with him?
Well, I just think that, Finchie, I got to fortunate enough to work with him in Denver for a year, and he came over as kind of in the NBA as an offensive mastermind, which he's very good at. But before that, when you look at what he did in Europe and then just getting to know him over the years, he's also very good at the defensive side of the ball. And what Finchie allowed me to do was essentially be like a bench coach in baseball. I wasn't in charge of the offense. I wasn't in charge of the defense. He just basically said, just act like you are a head coach and any thoughts that you have in game and as far as game management. And he really allowed me to, I guess, grow in that regard. And I've been fortunate to work with a lot of really good coaches, but Finchie was unbelievable. And I always have to give him the most credit because what other guy would blow out their own patella tendon during the playoffs to let me see if I could do this head coaching thing or not, for sure.
Micah Nori joining us. Micah, sidebar, what about is an IU grad who's invested so many years in the coaching profession? What do you make of what Curt Cignetti has done with your alma mater and turning them into a national football power? Like, I've been on record as saying this. It's one of the most amazing things I have ever seen in any sport at any time in any year. What's your reaction to what he's done there, even with the changing landscape of the game?
Obviously it's unbelievable. I was there for 4 years, and I think, I had season tickets and student tickets, and I think we literally went in for one game and maybe a half of a game in 4 years. And now when you see that stadium and you see how full it is and the things that he's done, and then I think the one that really put it in perspective to me was when you look back and saw that they had be the top 10 or ranked team 5 times in the last 100 years, and they did that 5 times this year. But to do what he's done, and Andre Patterson, who's on our staff in the front office here, who was at Indiana when I was there, I joke, I said, who'd have thought that you were at a football school, Andre, the whole time you thought you were at a basketball school? So, but it's phenomenal, obviously, what he's been able to do there, and could not be happier for him and the university.
Micah, of course, much has been made of the fact that your contract has only one guaranteed year with team options for the second and third years. Some other coaches, including NBA Coaches Association President J.B. Bickerstaff, was not happy about that, insisting that you, and really any coach in your position, deserves more job security than that. What is your reaction to some of your peers taking issue with it, and then why did you agree to accept it?
Well, number one, I have no issue. JB is the president of the Coaches Association. He's looking out for the greater good of those coaches, and I have no issue with JB or what he said. Good for him. As far as my individual situation, I discussed it the one time at the press conference, and the contract's in the drawer, but I'm very, very content with the situation that I'm in. I'm not going to get into all the details, but I feel very, very comfortable accepting this job. Tom Dundon, his ownership group, as well as Joe Cronin, have been nothing but supportive for me. And I just want to tell people, just sit back and watch and see how this plays out. And I think that people will be pleasantly surprised when they look back at the whole thing.
Yeah, effectively, when you assess the whole situation, were you just saying, you know what, I'm ready. I'm betting on myself.
Yeah, I think that's number one. I think, as you mentioned, taking this team, I've been up for some jobs, I think about 7 of them the last 2-3 years. And the biggest thing that I get back when you just try to ask for feedback is what could I have done differently? And it was always, well, really nothing. It's in a rebuild. This is a playoff team. So I have plenty of weapons, if you will, to continue to win basketball games. I've been able to surround myself with a very good staff, and there's great player development and all the way through in the organization and support. And when I evaluate all that, I think that we have a chance to win basketball games. And that's the most important thing, is winning in a league that is, that's what you're trying to do every single night.
Hey, Micah, not bad for a baseball guy. Last thought, how long did it take you to stop seeing yourself as a baseball guy?
I would say probably 10 years. But then when I sat there and I look back, and it's been 28 years and I've been in NBA longer than half of my life, I kind of started saying, I am a basketball guy, as much as I don't want to say I hate to admit it, but I still get to get the baseball fix by watching my son in that type of play. So it's good. It's always fun.
Ooh, tell me about that. Like, both our boys played baseball. I loved it. They only went as far as high school. Our younger son had a look at a couple of small colleges, but decided he'd rather be a college student than go play some D2 or D3 ball somewhere. What's it like watching your son play baseball?
I think it's a much more nerve-wracking than it ever was as far as playing.
Is that true?
It's 100%, because you have no control. So people think I'm insane, but like even coaching and playoff series and all that, you're not nearly as nervous as you are as watching your son play. And that goes for anybody, because again, you're just hoping that they do well. You have no control. When you play, you have control. And when you coach, you have somewhat control. But when you're just sitting there as a fan and you're watching, you just hope that they do so well.
I wonder if he turns into a basketball guy or an accounting guy, or I guess time will tell, right?
Well, my dad reminds me that my brother and I, Brady, all the talent that went from him skipped a generation to Dante and their boys and that type of thing. So hopefully he can continue to stay healthy and continue to play baseball, not have to worry about any of that other stuff.
It's a great conversation, Mike. I appreciate you very much. Thanks for making time. Great to have you on the show. Hope we can do it again soon.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Jim.
You too. Micah Nori joining us. Good stuff. Told you had a great background, really interesting background. 4 years of playing baseball at IU, wanted to be an MLBer, didn't get drafted, and thought, all right, now what? Now what? Thought he had a plan. And Butch Carter said, you know what, why don't you come up here? Why don't you come up here and be an intern? Yeah, but I'm a baseball guy. Yeah, well, you can be a basketball guy. And then he went up there. Talk about starting at the bottom. Didn't even play college basketball. College baseball, all 4 years. Hadn't played baseball, hadn't played basketball since high school. And then started at the very bottom as an intern. 8 years later, gets shot to be a head coach. 1-800-636-8686. All right, if you want to react to that, go ahead. I thought that was good stuff. Still ahead, Levante David, but not until hour number 3. Then coming up in the so-called hour 4, 3-hour program, but we call it the 4th hour, the Jim Rome Podcast, episode number 417. 417 long-form premium conversations. Andrew Brandt is my guest. So look for that a little bit later on. We'll push that out. In the meantime, I'm looking for your reaction. I've got thoughts on Powder and the investigation involving the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard. Also, I do want to talk some soccer. And yes, I took France yesterday. That didn't go very well. 0-0 at halftime today. I took England today. I was on a run, man. I was feeling good about me and my soccer knowledge. And then all of a sudden, not so much. 0-0 at halftime. All right, when we come back, the second hour, you know where to find me. Stay tuned, and I'll get some of your chat reaction in here too. All right, so we go into hour number 2. I want to remind you that this show is presented by FanDuel. Get into the app. Find it. I'm in it every single day. Love the app. All right, so telephone number is toll free. You know it. You can find me on the X. You can find me in chat. You can find me on email. Engage any way you want. I want to jump right into another topic. New hour, new topic. I want to talk about U.S. soccer. Feels like now is the time to do it. One, I may never do it ever again. Honestly. This might be my walk-off. I may never, ever talk soccer ever again. And I know that'll be good news for a lot of you. Although I actually take a lot of pride in the fact that I've evolved. I have an open mind. I'm not giving you the same take that I gave you in 1994. However, the whole experience of the World Cup, it started so great in the group stage. And then now everything's a crash out. Everybody's crashing out. Crash out this, crash out that. But that really was the ultimate crash out. And the problem is, it's like the truck. It's like Tiger's truck on its side. It just keeps sliding down the road. So I have some advice, U.S. soccer. I think actually it's really good advice. You're probably going to want to write this down. Get a pen. Get your note app. Whatever it is that you take notation with. You ready? Here it goes. My best advice to you, shut up. It's actually Jim Calhoun's best advice, but it definitely applies right here. U.S. men's national team. Feel free to stop talking at any time. Stay down. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Not even say less. Say nothing. Stay down. Because every time you keep trying to get up, you keep getting stomped on. Stay down. Honestly.
Shut up.
You're lucky I'm even still acknowledging you bastards. And I'm not sure when the next time will be. And I'm really serious about that. I have no idea when the next U.S. soccer segment will happen on this program. It could literally be years from now. It could literally be never, ever again. This might be the last jungle soccer segment ever. Let that sink in. I know that's very sad for a lot of you, but let that sink in. This could be the last soccer segment ever. I bet a huge part of this audience would love for it to be the last U.S. soccer segment ever in the jungle. So again, you guys on the team should appreciate that I am taking time out of my program to throw you some free and frankly very, very good advice. Once again, that advice is shut up.
Shut up.
Because nothing any of you have said since that utter catastrophe against Belgium has made anything better. In fact, it has made everything worse. First, there was Christian Pulisic telling us right after the game that, well, now at least I have time to rest. Like that's somehow the most important thing. Now he gets time to rest. Good for him, right? Forget that the World Cup on home soil, the real priority is taking time to rest so he can be healthy for his club season. Not the World Cup, not representing the U.S., and not doing it at home. And not him, quote, crashing out and getting hurt again and not being available again. The real important thing is now he can rest, which is important for him, for his club season, which of course was something that not a single U.S. soccer fan wanted to hear or even cared about the dumbest thing he could have possibly have said in that moment. And then it was just all downhill from there. I mean, you would think that after seeing that firestorm that followed that Pulisic comment, that the other dudes on the team would be a lot more careful. Like, wow, bro, that was not the thing you wanted to say in that moment. You think they would have all gone to school on that? You would have thought that they would have seen Christian get absolutely buried by anybody and everybody who's ever had anything to do with U.S. soccer, pretty much. for that comment. Say, you know what? Maybe we just stay down. Maybe we just wear it. Maybe we keep our mouths shut. But of course not. They just kept right on talking. Because there was Flo Balogun on CBS Mornings this week admitting that the team was nervous and the team freaked out after FIFA's red card reversal decision.
My initial reaction was, I was happy to be back in the team.
Yeah.
But when I kind of started to reflect, I knew it was going to cause a lot of controversy. And I could almost see within my teammates a bit of nerves because it's something that's so unique. But the closer we got to the game, I tried to just focus as best as I could.
Yeah.
But it was difficult, a lot of outside noise, and that's hard to avoid.
Listen, I respect the dude for being honest. I appreciate the amazing tournament that he had. But hearing that from him does not make me feel any better. Again, it actually makes me feel worse. He's like, I saw what happened, and then I saw the urine running down my teammates' legs. Like, he could tell already before the game that the team was nervous and the team freaked out. I mean, not exactly a huge revelation. We pretty much knew that based on how they played. Hell, the second they hit the pitch, we knew that was going on. How? I saw their diapers bulging. I saw the urine running down their legs. We saw that they were mentally in a terrible place for that game. But to hear that guy say it, sit down in a platform like that and say it, now we know for sure. And as much as I get it, and as much as there was huge international pressure, and as crazy as this situation got in the end, it's the World Cup, fellas. That's the whole point.
It's the World Cup.
That's the whole point. Of course there were eyeballs on these games. Of course there was pressure. Of course the entire world is watching. That's why it's called the World Cup. And this is just admitting that our team is too mentally weak to really compete when the stakes are this high. Even at home, especially at home. Maybe we already pretty much knew that based on that performance, but Flo, thank you very much. Thank you for confirming it. So now the guy admitted, plot out.
Thanks, Joe.
We freaked out. We freaked out. We freaked out when we got this incredible gift. The red card being overturned. And our best player, and yes, he was their best player, getting to play. And what did that do? It freaked everybody out. Of course, these dudes were not done talking, though. There was more still to come. Incredibly, say less. In fact, say nothing. My best advice to you, shut up. But of course, the last person who should be saying anything at all is the dude who has been in the headlines over the last 24 hours, goalkeeper Matt Freese. Yes, the same one who took a big dump in his pants and had a massive brain fart at the worst possible time and gifted Belgium their back-breaking third goal when the Americans were somehow, some way still in that game. At least you could convince yourself they were down a goal. But for some reason, that dude has something to add. That dude has something to say now. And what he has to say, incredibly, is that the criticism of the team, quote, hurts his heart. It hurts his heart. Quote, end of quote. Yeah, well, watching this team against Belgium hurt my freaking eyes and my brain and my soul. So I think we're pretty much even here, dude. My guy, if it's so difficult to see your buddies get criticized, maybe you should not have let them all down by taking a huge dump in your pants. Just a thought. He wasn't done, though. He had even more to say than that. And I quote, it's just so difficult for me to hear that, because if people were to see this group on a day-to-day basis and spend time with these guys more personally, they would see how badly we wanted it. They would see how bad I wanted it. 2 years ago, dreaming, like literally dreaming of this, and feeling the honor and the responsibility that comes with it. We wanted it so badly, more than anything else we've ever wanted, to capitalize on that and reward that support with something special. During the World Cup and the months leading into the World Cup, there was literally nothing else that crossed my mind. Quote, end of freaking quote. My reaction, nah, bro. Nah, bro. That's not how this works. That is not how this works. You had your chance to show the world how badly you and your guys wanted it. You had 90 minutes in Seattle in one of the best atmospheres ever, in one of your biggest games ever. That was your opportunity to show us how badly you all wanted it, how much you all dreamed about it. And what did you do with that? You peed right down your leg. You can't do that and then tell us after the fact that we just don't get it. You can't do that and then tell us after the fact that you wanted it worse than you have ever wanted anything in your life. Bullcrap. Then why, if you wanted it that badly, if you've done nothing but dream about it for 2 years, if we spent any time around you and your teammates, then we would know how badly you all wanted it. If all of that is true, then why the unfocused, humiliating, garbage performance against Belgium? If you all wanted it so badly, why were you so pathetically unprepared for that moment that you say you've dreamt about for the last 2 years when it came? Why? Why? You didn't hang in that game. You didn't battle in that game. That wasn't some hard-fought battle that came down to the 90th minute. You got curb stomped. You were never in that game. You didn't lose a close game. You guys didn't show up. You didn't show up mentally. And now you want us to believe that you wanted it worse than anybody has ever wanted anything. Okay, then why didn't you show up in the game? Why didn't any of that show up in the game? But your heart hurts from all the criticism? What? That's either bullcrap or pathetic, and neither option is good.
What?
It's either bullcrap or it's pathetic, and neither is good. For the last time, you had your chance, your best chance ever. Everything was lined up for you. Everybody was watching. Everybody was on board. You got your best player back who you shouldn't have had. You were doing it on home soil. The whole country was behind you. All you had to do was go play a good game. And instead, you took a big dump in your pants, period. Hey, notice what I didn't say. Notice I didn't say win the game. I didn't even say win the game. I just said play a good game. Show up. Show the right mentality. Show the right focus. Show the right effort level. I think most people would have understood. I think most people would have been satisfied. But nobody was satisfied watching you all take a big dump in your pants for 90 minutes. And the last thing after that anybody wants to hear is how badly you all wanted it and how all this criticism hurts so much. If you wanted it that badly, man, you got a really funny way of showing it. Hey, honestly, nobody wants to hear anything from any of you right now because that's how badly you blew it. And it almost still seems like you don't want to accept that you blew it. That's a major problem. You're not wearing it. You're not owning it. You're talking about how badly the criticism hurts. Wah? If you guys want to work on something right now, work on that. Work on getting it through your heads that you failed, that there is no excuse, and if things are ever actually going to improve, you're going to need to face your failures. Figure them out. Own it. Fix it. Not tell us how badly you all wanted it. Not tell us how much the criticism hurts. Yeah, we know. You wanted it. We all did. Don't tell us you were dreaming of this, and then the president interfered, and it freaked the team out. The good news is there's now time to rest, right? You got that going for you. The good news is there's now time to rest. Because my only response to all of that you're saying is, wrong answer. Your heart hurts.
Not a very good call.
Bro, you do know you gave up one of the worst goals ever, right? Why was there no mention of that? Why was there no ownership of that? Just this criticism hurts because, man, did we ever want it. Anyway, good news is that may in fact be my last U.S. soccer take ever. Ever. That should put a nail in that coffin. Stop talking, man. And not even say less. And Jim Calhoun and I, in the end, didn't see eye to eye, but I can really appreciate what he had to say. That is some great advice for y'all.
My best advice to you?
Shut up.
Yeah. Shut up.
Man, that could not. I don't know what went worse. What they did on the pitch or what they're doing off the pitch, because they won't stop. Stop. Anyway, if you want to celebrate that, good, Rome, good. It's about time. We were sick of you talking soccer anyway. Well, you got your wish. You got your wish. Because they could not be handling this any worse than they are. Meanwhile, England has taken a 1-0 lead over Argentina. Good. Why? Because I hit them on the FanDuel app. 1-0, and they took that lead in the 57th minute. All right, so your reaction. Your reaction to what might have been the final Rome soccer take ever. Wow. I'm almost sad. The beautiful game. Why? My evolution was so awesome. My transformation as a soccer pundit was so impressive. Why? Why does your heart hurt so much, Freeze? Why did y'all panic? Now I can't talk soccer anymore. Why? There you go.
World Cup.
It's the World Cup. It's the that's why the whole world was watching, bro. It's the World Cup. It's not the American Cup. It's not the Gold Cup. It's not the LA Cup.
Why do we always give up the goal in the last minute?
Why do we always lose to Ghana and everybody? Why do we always lose no matter who it is? And why is it never our fault? Why are people making fun of us? Why are people being mean? Why is everybody being so mean? You don't even know us. You never spent any time around us. Clearly, if you came around, you would know how badly we want it. I've been dreaming every night for 2 years. Well, why does everybody keep pointing out that an MLS goaltender has never been part of the World Cup team? Why? Why are y'all looking at me? Because you keep talking, that's why. Because y'all took a big dump in your pants, that's why. That's why. You only built it up to be the biggest moment ever in soccer. And then when that moment arrived, you couldn't have come up any smaller. And then you want to know why people are criticizing you. And then you got Pulisic saying things like, it's just the start. It's just the start? How many times do you get to just start? What happened to the golden age? But you know what's crazy? Like, I'm talking about this actually legitimately. And I'm not talking about urine bombs, blood bombs, Capri Sun, orange slices. Like, I'm breaking this thing down legitimately. Yeah, well, never again. I think that was that. That was the final nail in the coffin. I think I'm now officially done talking soccer. It was fun while it lasted. It was a fun 8 years or 4 years. Top of the hour, Levante David. Back to the other football. Yeah, I'll tell you what, though. Out of the corner of my eye, I am watching that game. But only because I have action on it. You want to perform better. You know what you should do? Start with sleep. Because you can't work, train, think, golf, or recover if you're waking up wrecked. That's why Ghost Bed makes so much sense to me. For instance, I am a hot sleeper, so Ghost Bed's cooling technology really got my attention. It helps take the heat from getting trapped underneath you so you can sleep cooler and wake up ready to go. Hot sleepers are some of Ghost Bed's happiest customers. But Ghost Bed is not just about cooling, it's also built for real support. Your back, your hips, your shoulders, your neck, so your body can actually rest and recover overnight. That's the whole point. You shouldn't wake up feeling like you fought your mattress all night long. And with Ghost Bed's 101 night sleep trial, you don't have to guess. You can literally sleep on it for more than 3 months and then decide if it's right for you. Right now, you can get Ghost Bed's lowest prices of the season and an additional 10% off. All you have to do is go to ghostbed.com/Rome. Use my promo code Rome. Ghostbed.com/Rome. Use the promo code Rome. Ghostbed.com/Rome. Promo code Rome. Trust me, you will be happy you did.
You're listening to The Jim Rome Show.
Hardaway Jr. is his own man, makes his own decisions. But given that you played 6 years in Miami, how much input did you give him as he went through the free agency process and then ultimately did decide to sign with the Heat?
Well, you know, he is.
I'm talking about Dricus du Plessis. Dricus, always good to have you on the show. Thanks for making time. How is Fight Week treating you so far?
Hey, man, good to be back. Yeah, Fight Week's amazing. I mean, weight is great. I've been off for a while. It's been a while since I've been through a fight week. Man, it's exciting to be back. I can't wait to get in there.
Right, so you're right. It's been a while. In fact, it's been 11 months since your last fight, which we can talk about in a minute. But how have you used the last 11 months to improve physically and mentally? What has your process been like?
Yeah, to be honest, on a mental level, I don't think there is room for improvement when it comes to the fight game for me. I am just mentally, I'm always ready, and I 100% believe that I'm the best in the world. Physically, I mean, it's not about working harder. I can't be working any harder. It was about assessing, seeing the mistakes, seeing the problem areas, and just perfecting that. Because when you're at the highest level fighting to be the best in the world, the smallest of margins make the biggest difference.
So, because I respect that. You saying like, hey, by the way, there's really not anything or that much I can improve upon. I am the best in the world. I am the best in the world. When you and I last spoke, it was before the Chimaev fight, I believe. He did beat you. He did get that strap. Why do you feel like you're still the best in the world if he did beat you and he's got the strap?
Yeah, he had the strap. He doesn't have it anymore because the guy that beat him, I beat twice.
So, okay. That's what you're saying. So he actually doesn't have the strap, or you're the best because the guy beat him, you beat twice.
He lost the belt.
Yeah, no, I got that.
He lost the belt. I beat Strickland, and I beat Strickland twice. So I am indirectly still the world champion.
I got you. I see what you're doing. I understand what you're saying right there. Listen, so in terms of the matchup itself, if that's the case, when you go into a camp, are you mostly preparing yourself? Like, how much of it is about you getting yourself ready versus preparing for a specific opponent?
Yeah, I think it's different for a lot of guys. A lot of guys like to train specifically for a certain opponent. But once you get to this level and you're fighting a guy that specializes in one area of the sport, you have to know exactly what it is and be able to match or defend that area and be able to play the fight or fight the fight at your strengths. And that's very important. And he's doing the exact same thing. So it's all about who can implement that game plan on the night. It's simple as that. My opponent's coming with a game plan. And then again, I fight a certain way. My opponent knows that. So I know my opponent knows that. So you change it up, trying to surprise that guy in there, because then it's hard. You know, he's prepared this whole camp for something specific that I do. And that's also important for us to see my mistakes, because he's seen those mistakes. And if we can't identify it and he does, we're in trouble.
Dricus du Plessis joining us. Dricus, what about Kamaru Usman? You had said that initially he was reluctant to sign the contract for that fight and needed some convincing from the UFC. What does that tell you about him going into this fight? And on some level, if he's reluctant to take the fight, has he already kind of lost the fight?
No, I don't think it's a matter of being scared. You know, Kamaru Usman has faced the best in the world for many, many years. He's at the top of the 170 division. He was for very, very long. I don't think that's the case. I just think, you know, he has one last run in him. You know, if he wins this fight, he'll probably get a title shot. And if you look at our styles, he's a physically, on a physical level, he dominates. He's a physically dominant fighter, but it's not at middleweight and not against me, because that's how I fight. So, you know, just in terms of styles, I think he might have gone, wait, there is a different route. There is somebody else that could also get him the title shot, but that's not on the table right now. So he kind of felt like maybe we can push for another fight that suits his style a bit better. But, you know, this was the fight to make. You know, I'm the former champion, only lost once, and this is the fight. So the route to the title leads to me, and I 100% don't think it's him being scared. I just think it was maybe we can take another route. But yeah, I don't make too much of it. To me, I knew about the fight in advance. I didn't care. Even if he didn't sign the contract, I would have fought somebody else. I was prepared to fight anybody in the world.
Wednesday is an ATP day, so that means it's time to ask the pros. You get to ask me a question or anybody else on the crew, and it's always sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Post your question at Jim Rome. Use the hashtag AskThePros on X. Listen later on, and I or somebody else here might answer one of your questions. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. All right, so some reaction. Armand Armadillo has found his way to the chat. He made the move. Dude, get Matt Freeze some orange slices, a Capri Sun, and a participation trophy. I mean, he really tried. Yo, scoreboard, brother. Or go play intramurals, brother.
It's Division I football!
Again, it's not
it's
that they lost.
12, brother.
It's how they lost.
Intramurals?
It's how they showed up. They didn't.
2 weeks after finals, you got a week
And it's the reaction to it. But just this notion of my heart hurts from all this criticism. It was the biggest thing in the world. It was the biggest game in the world. It's the biggest tournament in the world. Everybody would tell you, and it was on home soil. What did you think? And then his whole point was, it's so unfair and so unfortunate because the tournament was so amazing. Not really. Nobody gave a damn about the participation round. You were supposed to get out of the group. You were favored to get out of the group. All right, so you get to the round of 32. Awesome. But again, not to belabor this, I'm going to keep moving. This was the golden generation. This was the most talented team. This was their best opportunity. You were at home. It was all lined up. What are you talking about? That we don't get it. That it actually was awesome. That's what he's saying. It was actually awesome. We're actually awesome athletes. We're actually awesome competitors. You got curb stomped at home. You were never in it. Your own teammates said we were freaked out. Jimmy Rig 54. This is all in chat. Why is the goalie even talking? Why are any of them even talking is my point, unless they're talking and owning it and saying why it happened and what they're going to do to make sure it never happens again. At TX Ump Show on the chat, quote, someone just take Freeze to Charles E. Cheese already for some mid pizza and a creepy mouse. That'll make his heart feel better. Fair. At Raz_management, Van Smack just lit up the USMNT worse than Turkey A and Belgium did. Sheesh. Was I unfair? Tell me I was unfair. At a surly barber 3620. Please don't criticize me for playing poorly when it counts the most. I'm quite emotionally fragile. Nailed it. Exactly. That's why I'm all fired up. Jay in Tampa. Jim, we're just here for the Gushers and Capri Sun and Little Debbie's, okay? Signed USMNT. Of course I'm going to allow that now. They're acting like that. They're acting like AYSOers. They're acting like, where is my Capri Sun? William Corpus 9591. Team USA won't make the World Cup tournament in 2030. I don't know if they will or won't. I don't know if they will or they won't. I just know I won't be talking about it. This was my last take. I'm walking off on that. Like this guy. At 2 hams, $20. Quote, the next time Rome talks soccer, I'll be dead. And I'll be glad. Hey, hams. The next time Rome talks soccer, we'll all be dead. Because Rome's not talking soccer ever again. And by the way, where can you get 2 hams for $20? The next time you can find 2 hams for $20, I think I'll be dead. And the next time Rome talks soccer, don't you worry, 2 hams for $20, we will all be dead. Because Rome won't be doing it again. We good? I think. All right, so there's all that. And then there's still some reaction to some of the other things. The All-Star game, which I led with, that was pretty whack. Not my take. My take was awesome. Pretty much most of my takes are. I didn't say all. See, unlike the soccer team, I can own that it doesn't always work. Hell, I would tell you if I took a big dump in my pants. I would tell you if I urinated down my own leg. Oh, look who's here. Mets Kid. First of all, Mets Kid by now is probably Mets Adult, but okay. At Mets Kid is in, quote, congrats to the NL for winning the strikeout derby. You suck, just like Terry Collins. Hey, any chance I have to reset Mets Kid works for me,
Terry?
even though he's now Mets man.
Show some emotion, you old ass, silly ass man. I want to punch your out of you, knock your teeth out. Now, who's going to be smiling? I will. Never show a smile. I mean, when you do, you're spanking the teammates at you. You're spanking Michael Conforto's sorry ass. That's what you're doing. So, Terry, goodbye. Have Wally Backman come over here.
Find me any piece of content that has aged better than that. I'll wait. That just gets better and better and better and better. Never mind timeless. It's getting better with time. You silly ass man.
Wally Backman.
Nothing like a 9-year-old kid threatening to knock out a 50-something-year-old man. That's incredible.
Terry.
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 Terry. Terry.
Terry.
At Conky Joe writes, Ray Charles, this goes back to the show open. Ray Charles on an e-bike might have saved the game. Wow. Oh, there's V in the fee. You asked for a DDU. No, I did not. I said that if there was a DDU, you would have it. V and the fee. You asked for a DDU. So here is the latest from the CDC. Quote, we are in DEFCON brown. This means avoid pulling someone's finger, pee in the bushes to leave more toilets open, and avoid playing around the rim. Bro,
Toilets!
Every word in that update was offensive to me. Let me go back to some of the other old school. This is not from the chat. Hey, look who's here. The Wasabi Boys. I guess the Wasabi Boys are not jumping up into the chat. It's all right, you don't have to. Like I said, the engagement does not change. This is just another way to engage. If you're happy engaging the way you've always engaged with the program, do that. Quote, street clothes, Pulisic, needs to stay in Italy forever. No argument here. I mean, if not now, then when? He's 27. He's 27. He's in his prime. What do you mean we're just now starting? No, you're not. You're 27. They're still running all your commercials. This was your time. Jamie in Green Bay, quote, you don't get it, Rome. Our moms even packed extra orange slices for us in these games. Son, the U.S. MNT. Yeah, I know. That's my point. I don't get it. Jay in Tampa's in on chat. Oh, no. The USMNT keeper isn't beating people up. You got to help us. He's not going psychotic. He's not beating anybody up. We need help. I need help. I need help. Everybody's beating us up. I need help. The American public is beating people up. Belgium is going psychotic. No, our own fans are going psychotic. They're beating us all up. We need help. I don't know. Just again, this whole notion that we don't get it. We don't get how badly they wanted it. Dude, wrong answer. You had every opportunity to show us how badly you wanted it. And y'all no-showed. What do you mean we don't get it? Oh, we get it. We get it. You don't get it. What do you mean we don't get it? You don't get it. That's the whole point of the last half hour of this show. You don't get it. We understand. We understand the beautiful game. You don't even have to understand the beautiful game to recognize a no-show when you see a no-show. Oh, no, we get it. We absolutely get it. The beautiful game. R.I.P. My last soccer take. Wow. I don't know how I feel about that. I started to like the somewhat attractive game. Oh, well. There you go. That's that. When we come back, it's a good thing show or appearances are not show fodder. The somewhat unattractive Powder is in our crosshairs again. This guy, man. Powder, when are we going to get a decision on the Clippers and the Raptors and, more importantly, Kawhi? When? It's been almost a year. How long does it take to investigate whether or not this guy had a job working for a tree farm? That and more when we come back.
You're listening to The Jim Rome Show.
Hey, big voice guy. Kind of sell me short. I mean, I am Jim Rome of Westwood One. True. Very proud of that. Love it. One of my favorite relationships ever. I love working with Westwood One. I have for a long time. But also with SiriusXM. Also with our YouTube channel. Also with our 8 other platforms. 8, Lauren, count them. 8. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. 8. On our Rome TV channel.
Not 2, not 3.
Thank
not
you, Lauren,
4,
for putting that up. So
5,
you can watch
6,
this show on
7,
YouTube, on Amazon Prime or Prime Video, Roku, TCL, DirecTV, Plex, Samsung TV Plus, Vizio, and LG. No. An equalizer. And not the great equalizer, not that equalizer, an equalizer from Argentina with what, Tom? Were there 5 minutes left? Damn. 1-1. 5 minutes to go. That's been a rock fight, yo. All right, anyway, on to other things. Alvy, I hate to talk about you when you're in the room, but I need to talk about you and you're in the room. This whole thing about the number 8. So Jared Verse goes to the Browns, and then no offense, Alvy, but the guy just shows up rocking the number 8. Like he ripped it right off your back. Was there no conversation? Was there no negotiation? I mean, the guy just showed up. And the second he showed up, he was wearing your uniform. The internet assumed he went right into your locker, and I don't know why it fit him and you. I don't see how that works, but he went right in and he just took it because the second he got there, he was wearing that number. Now, granted, again, Alvy, I don't want to talk about you while you're here, but he's way more important to them than you will ever be. No offense, bro. Anyway, he finally set the record straight and talked about it. Jared Verse said that's not what happened. He was on Good Morning Football and said, no, I did not rip the jersey off Alvy's back. I did not go into Alvy's locker and rip the jersey. We actually did have a conversation about this.
All right, Verse, man, I see the jewelry, man. I'm sure that you have plenty of jewelry that has number 8 on it, and all of a sudden you get shipped to Cleveland, and there's a young third rounder by the name of Dylan Gabriel who just happens to be wearing number 8. Did you go out there and have a nice little, conversation with him, or did you hit him with the Debo and say, what number 8?
Man, I saw the little memes of everybody talking about I just pulled it off his back. I was like, man, let me chill out. Nah, we had walked in the equipment room. We talked it up. We ended up calling each other, going back and forth, found a little number that works for both of us, had our FAs handle the rest. But nah, I ain't pull it off his back.
A few things. Number one, the guy's energy is so amazing. I love the guy. I love Verse. Verse, how can you be that happy going from the Rams to the Browns? How can you be that happy going from a Super Bowl favorite to the Browns? And yet the guy's energy is still great. It's still off the charts. His charisma is still awesome. I love the guy so much. Verse is one of my favorite guys. You know what's really interesting? Guys and their numbers. Guys and their numbers. And what their numbers mean. And what they're willing to do to keep their numbers. Wasn't that interesting the way that was positioned? You probably have a lot of jewelry with that number. That's actually a fair point. Think about the number, and obviously the number means a lot for a lot of different reasons, but factor that in. How much money do you think certain players have spent on their number? Not to get the number, Alvy. Like, I don't know how much he got or how much you got from him. In fact, Alvy, can you tell me how much did he pay you to get that number? Hi, Jim. Hi, Alvy.
It's been a while. Hang on.
Anytime, Dylan.
Hey, Jim.
Oh, hey, Dylan. So can you tell me how that negotiation went? And sorry to talk about you while you're in the room, but how did that negotiation went, and how did you make out on that?
Honestly, not that much.
No?
I mean, I'm still here, so clearly wasn't enough. I'd probably have to get a second or a third job. Browns quarterback here, and then
play-by-play. You're still doing play-by-play for the Cavs, right?
No, can't do that anymore. And yeah, maybe I'll get a job across the street at the at that restaurant. You know, Jim, the world needs plenty of bartenders.
World needs plenty of bartenders.
It does, Albie.
Yeah, it just sucks here.
Are you a
I
mixologist?
I don't even want to go to camp anymore. It's a waste of my time.
Kind of is, right?
I'll find something else.
Well, the world does need plenty of bartenders.
World needs plenty of bartenders.
Are you a mixologist? Can you do that?
I can do that. What do you want? We should actually put that in. Maybe I'll do a purchase order through the boss. Maybe the boss will get us a bar in the green
that's
room.
what we need, a bar at work. I'm already on record for a couple of things. I'm on record as being a guy that never, ever drinks between Sunday and Thursday, but I'll go ahead and put it in a bar at work. That's what we need.
I mean, you got plenty of stuff on top of your,
I know,
your fireplace.
Right?
So
I mean, actually, we do have a bar at work. It's in my office. Over the years, people will always send me a bottle of something for whatever milestone we hit or a birthday or anything, and I never bring the bottles home. I just put them up on that mantle. You're right.
Perfect.
We already do have a bar in the office.
We
Help
could have
yourselves.
we could have our own hydration period, like between second and third hour.
With vodka and bourbon.
Yes.
You're right. Well done.
I'll get on that. Thanks, Jim.
Are you done? You were on one.
Now I'm done.
All right, so I'll be saying the world needs plenty of bartenders, and maybe the boss could put a bar in. Then we realize we already do have a bar in here. It's in my office. Got a lot of booze in there, and I just never bring it home. Whenever somebody gives me anything of any value, I just kind of slam it on that mantle, and I've long since run out of room, but there are bottles there. I should probably take a picture of that and post that. There is a bar in the office. Yeah, no, we don't drink at work. We're funny like that. We do not drink at work. I don't even drink during the week, but I will on the weekends, and I will in Wisconsin, but not at work. All right, so anyway, Jared Verse, love the guy. What happened now? What happened, Tommy? You better not be an Argentina guy. Talk to me.
It is an Argentina goal in the 92nd minute to go up 2-1 from Lautaro Martinez. It appears to be onside, but not confirmed yet. Because I'm an Inter Milan fan and he is the captain of my team. So
he better have been
this
offsides.
This is a huge moment.
Talk to me. He's offsides. I'm not even seeing the video, and he's offsides.
They're celebrating like he was clearly onside. I didn't get a great look at it. Here's the replay now.
Man, I can't wait for this to end. I'm going back. I'm going back to Rome 94, man.
They hit the bottom of the right post immediately before this, so they almost just scored. Then the ball goes out to the right side and gets played back in on a cross.
Why are you talking when I'm trying to bag up urine?
It's onside. It's a goal.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Why are you... Cut me, Mick, so I can bag up some blood.
My wife also called that he was going to score the winner in this game, so should we bet on that?
Not making me feel better. All right, so I don't know. Hey, Big Head, are you listening? Where did you end up going? He and I talked this morning. I said, I've already hit England. Which way are you leaning? And he had not yet bet. All right, so back-to-back losses and the Americans acting like gimmicky little... When we come back, thank God we'll talk some NFL. Levante David joins me when we return. All right, so we move into hour number 3. Let me tell you about the rest of the day. Welcome back, or good afternoon. I am Jim Rome. Great to be with you. I've got Lavonte David coming up momentarily. He is getting set. We will have that for you. So that's coming up. The ATP. Can you hit me with some Ask the Pros questions? We'll have that sometime this hour. Ask me or anybody else on the crew anything you want. Then after the program, we've got the Jim Rome Podcast, which is episode number 417. Andrew Brandt will be joining us. Right now, though, as promised, we are joined by a former NFL linebacker, a Super Bowl champion, a member of the NFL 2010s All-Decade team, a 3-time All-Pro, a Pro Bowler in 2015. He played his entire 14-year career with Tampa Bay. He announced his retirement on March 24th. Last year, he led the Bucs with 114 tackles, 3.5 sacks. Good friend of the program. I'm speaking of Lavonte David. Lavonte, always good to see you, my dude. How you feeling?
Great, Jim. How you doing, man? Thank you for having me as always.
Good to see you. Appreciate you as always. Man, that was weird. Like, you and I have had so many conversations over the years, and it seemed awfully weird to introduce you as a former linebacker. Are you still adjusting to that yourself? And how are the early stages of retirement so far?
Yeah, I'm still adjusting to it, but it haven't really hit me yet. I'm doing everything the best that I can to kind of stay busy, keep my mind off football a little bit. This around the time when guys, ramping up their training and getting ready to go to training camp. So, for me, I kind of haven't been around football guys as much, so I'm not getting that itch, getting that urge. So I'm just doing what I can to keep myself in shape for my own health.
And isn't that the truth, right? Whenever you go through something, whatever that something is, stay busy and stay in shape. Lavonte David joining us. You know, it's interesting. I mentioned that you led the team in tackles last year. You had a huge year. In fact, the last 4 years, you were over 100 tackles, so you were still playing at a really high level. Why did you decide to walk away after last season?
Basically, I just wanted to do it on my own terms, and I just felt like it was time for me to move on from the game. Last year was the first year that I ever had like a nagging situation that I was dealing with through all season with my knee issue, and throughout I just didn't know how to handle it and things like that, and I knew it was going to be something that would hinder me, throughout the rest of my career if I keep playing football. So for me, man, I just gotta have a clear mind when I'm out there on the field as far as like dealing with certain things, certain stuff I can deal with, but stuff that I bank on, as far as like using my legs and things like that, if that's bothering me and I'm thinking about it as much, I know it's probably gonna give me a hard time. And this past year, I was doing that a lot, doing a lot of thinking. So I felt like it was time for me to give it up.
Yeah, that's real. That's a really transparent answer. I appreciate that. You actually answered something before I could get there and ask you. Anytime I talk to somebody who retires, I always say every great athlete wants to go out on their own terms. You said it before I got there. Why was that so important? And how were you able to do so?
Oh man, it was very important for me. Just coming from where I'm coming from and understanding the things that I went through to get myself to that point, and to be able to just, cherish it and, not take it for granted, and be extremely grateful for the moment that I did get to that point. To be able to play 14 years in one organization is an incredible feat in its own. And for me to be able to, change my family's life and allow my family to enjoy certain experiences with me was something that I always wanted to do. And from a football standpoint, I felt like I did all I could. I beat a lot of odds to get to that point. I was, very, very satisfied with my career. I'm happy with the way, my career ended in Tampa. I have a lot of love for the Buccaneer organization and the people in the community as well. And I just thought, man, it wasn't no other point for me to just continue to play. So I just said I'll just hang it up. But for me to do it on a situation where, they're waiting on me to make a decision, man, cherry on top.
Man, that's so extremely well said. That is so well said. You got to make the call yourself. You got to go out on your own terms. Even how good does it feel also to know that you left it all out there? Like, no regret. You did everything you possibly could to get everything you had out of your God-given talent and your opportunity. Do you feel like that's the case? And how good does that feel?
Man, it feels amazing. From the first time I told my dad I wanted to play football, I knew, every time I'm out there, I had to give him my all, because I had him in the back of my mind. I had him, pushing me to be the greatest. And every time I stepped out on the field, I wasn't playing for myself. I was playing for the guys around me. A lot of guys, kind of like looked up to me and things like that. And I just wanted to prove myself, prove that I belonged in this league. And, I was able to do that. And that's just my mental makeup. Since I started playing football, I always wanted to go out there and play my hardest and leave no stone unturned and play the greatest game I could play.
Lavonte David joining us. So if a lot of guys, it's true, a lot of guys looked up to you. A lot of guys were picking your brain. A lot of guys were learning from you. You mentored a lot of guys. But when you first got in, who were the guys that you looked up to? Who were the guys that took you under your wing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Rondé Barber was one of the guys. Gerald McCoy, Michael Bennett, my guys, Mason Foster, Adam Hayward, Quincy Black. Oh man, I can name a whole bunch of other guys. Deshaun Golston, he came around, my second year in the league. Darrelle Revis came around my second year in the league. EJ Biggers. It's a bunch of guys who were kind of like, I earned the respect of. My first day of training camp, those guys saw me working hard. And obviously, me being a rookie, I had to take control of the green dot. I had to call the defense. So obviously they kind of like gravitated to me more to be able to help me out through that year. And, I built great relationships with those guys, and I'm still, tight with those guys right now today.
And always will be. Legends, all legends of the game. Lavonte David joining us. So you made history in the final game of your last season when you tied Derrick Brooks for most career tackles in franchise history. You want to talk about a legend. That guy right there. What does sharing that record with that Hall of Famer and an all-time Bucs great like you, what does that mean to you?
Oh, man, it's incredible. You know what I mean? Like, to me, for me to be, mentioned in the same breath with Derrick Brooks is, honorable in his own. What he brought to the game, the way he played the game. Man, one thing that I really love about DB is that he's a great person, off the field. A lot of people looked up to him off the field as well. Just as much as he is a Hall of Fame guy on the field, he's a Hall of Fame person too as well. And for me to be able to, tie him for a franchise record in tackles, oh man, it's incredible. I never thought I'd be there. I never thought I'd be able to tie a record with, Derrick Brooks. I mean, obviously, I would love to have, beat it, but I'm good.
Oh, you're frozen, my man. I'll try and get it back. We're talking to Lavonte David. I was going to say that graphic. The graphic, the two of them. What he was saying was, I would love to be the guy, but there's something kind of poetic about sharing it, right? We're talking to Lavonte David. There you go. He's back.
Yeah, sorry.
No, so can you finish that thought? It would have been nice to be that guy, even on top of that guy, but you have to share it with somebody. That's kind of poetic in a way.
Yeah, it's definitely poetic. But like you said, man, I would love to have, beat it. I'd love to be on top, be there standing alone. But to be able to share with him, man, one of the first guys who I met when I first got drafted, one of the first OGs I met. So definitely thankful to be able to share that with him.
Lavonte, it seems like no matter who you were going to play for, you were going to come out a certain way, but you got to play for one of the icons, one of my favorite guys, one of everybody's favorite people in Bruce Arians. This dude truly is one of one. Like, I've never known an NFL coach quite like B.A. What is your favorite Bruce Arians story, maybe, that you can share on the air?
Oh, man. Sure. One of my favorite things I love about B.A., man, is just how real he kept it. I remember, going to my 8th year, when he came in 2019, I was ready to, move on because they was having a new head coaches coming in and stuff like that, a new regime. So I thought I wasn't going to be a foundation piece of it. But I remember he gave me a call. He was like, "Nah, I want you to be a part of this. And it's something that we're going to build around you. And we love to have you here to be able to change the organization around." And I just remember the first team meeting. And it was one of the, the first time I heard this, man. Like, he first thing he said, like, "We just gonna get rid of the dumb you know him. We know how he is. He cursed with it. But like, first thing we're gonna do is get rid of the dumb No more dumb Like, we lost all our games because we doing dumb and we not gonna do no more dumb And he kept going on and on about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I love this. You know what I'm saying? And he was that guy, man. I think when he came in, we turned ourselves around, became one of the most disciplined teams around, and we started winning football games. And we got a Super Bowl out of it, man. Definitely grateful for BA, man. He always tell him, man, he helped me enjoy the game of football again, and I'm definitely thankful for him.
Man, that is so great. And I think maybe it's just me on the outside looking in, but I think you guys won that Super Bowl because you got rid of all that dumb You stopped doing all that dumb
He's the best, man. Yeah,
he is so funny.
I agree. I agree big time.
Talking to Lavonte David for a couple of more moments. And let me ask you this. When you watch the team this year, how different is it going to be not seeing Mike Evans out there catching passes for the team after he signed with the 49ers, and it's going to be the first time that he's away from that team in 12 years. When you saw him there and spent your entire career with him there, how weird will that be?
It's going to be very weird. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to be weird not seeing 1-3 suit up for the Buccaneers, put up a Buccaneer uniform, and not seeing his poster on the side of the stadium. Is definitely going to be different. But I mean, I think those guys are set up for greatness this year. Their roster is amazing. They have a great roster. They had a great draft, and I feel like they had an underrated free agency, period. Signing certain guys defensively for sure. Guys who plug in and fill pieces that we definitely needed defensively. And it's getting back to what we do, you know what I'm saying? And you're getting those guys for that. And obviously, Baker, you got Baker over there. You got Bucky coming back healthy. You got our offensive line coming back healthy. And you got a receiver room who kind of like can fill the void, of losing Mike Evans. You don't want to say everybody could, replace Mike, but it's a collective group that can do a lot of great things. Obviously, with Chris Godwin leading the room, you got Emeka Egbuka, coming to his second year, and I just been hearing great things about him still. Tez, you got a rookie that they drafted. J-Mac is coming back. So they set up for success. They ended up signing KR back too as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to a great season from the Buccaneers.
Lavonte, before I let you go, because you mentioned Baker, let me just follow up on that really quickly. It's like you're not in the middle of it, so you don't know, but maybe you have an opinion. You know how it is. If you have a quarterback, you take care of that quarterback, and that deal's not done yet. Why do you think that deal's not done yet?
I'm not sure, but knowing that organization, being around them for a while, I'm sure they're very transparent in certain things. They just probably don't have a certain number that they want to reach yet, or they probably trying to get something else done, clearing room up for Baker. But I believe in my heart they'll get it done, man. Like you said, man, you need a great quarterback to take you to distance, and I feel like Baker is that guy who could get the Buccaneers over the hump, especially with the roster that he have right now. I'm sure Jason and those guys don't get it done, man, and I'm definitely vouching for that.
Lavonte, one last thought. You said something pretty profound that we didn't talk about. When you announced your retirement, you said you had been asking yourself, who is Lavonte David? And I think that's profound because any athlete, like when you've done one thing your entire life, and then all of a sudden you're not doing that thing, that's your identity, and nobody really knows what it's like until all of a sudden you're not doing it, and you're like, who am I? I thought that was really profound. Have you been still kind of dealing with that? Do you have the answer to that yet? Where does that stand right now in terms of identity?
I kind of have been dealing with that for sure. Just trying to figure out what Lavonte wants to do with his life. My whole life, you kind of feel like you're in control of everything growing up and stuff like that with playing football, but you're really not in control. There's certain pieces certain people around you who kind of control the screens to help get you where you want to be. But now, I have that freedom, I have that free will to kind of like figure out exactly what I want to do, who I want to be. And like you said, man, football was my identity my whole life. I played football since I was 6 years old. So I'm definitely excited for this new chapter in my life, being a father, just going out, trying to find a new career path and, getting closer to the Lord, sticking to my faith and just trying to be a better person, man. Just, figuring out along the way. I've honestly, bought myself enough time to be able to figure it out. So I'm definitely looking forward to the next chapter in life. I have some great people in my corner who can help me out through the process, some guys who've been through this already. So definitely going to be looking forward to it.
Well, man, it's such a great perspective. It's a great perspective, and it's the next season. It's the next season of your life. You've got your entire life in front of you and have been living an amazing life already. My man, I appreciate you. I know this will not be our last time talking. I appreciate the friendship. I appreciate the access. You've always been great on the program, and I'll look forward to doing it again soon. Appreciate you, dude.
Man, as always, Jim, man. Whenever you reach out, I'm down for you, man. Appreciate you.
It's so true, dude. You always have been. Lavonte David joining us. Appreciate you a lot, my guy. Lavonte David, what a class act. What a great player. What a great dude. And he's right. Sometimes when people come on, it's really funny. There are some guys that we try to get on, and then it's a hard turn, frankly. And then they'll do the interview and I'm like, anytime, Rome. And then I just laugh privately, like, anytime? I've been trying for 9 months. But when Lavonte David says, anytime you call it, Jim, I'm here for you, it's true. He is. He always has been and always is. So that is 100% true. And what a class act and what a great player. And he's going to have a great life going forward. All right, when we come back, looking for your ATPs, hit me up, ask the pros, ask me, ask Tom, ask Alvin, ask Alex Hattie. You know, I've been trying to get to the C.J. Stroud thing. C.J. Stroud compared the women of Houston to the women of L.A. All right, so I've got a lot of friends in Houston. I'm an L.A. native. Lorne is a Houston guy. This is a big Texans house. We kind of got to get into this, right? So we'll do that when we come back.
You're listening to The Jim Rome Show.
I got a problem. Well, probably more than one. But my biggest problem right now, I can't stop talking about soccer. I thought I laid this to rest. I thought I was done. Yeah, I thought I was done after I did an epic and legendary rant about the U.S. team. But I did so when England was up 1-0 on Argentina, 1-0. And I already admitted I had action on England after I had action on France. And France took a big dump in their pants. But England's up, and it's a hard-fought game. Of course, England v. Argentina. They're up 1-0. In the 85th minute, I've mentally banked the win, only to have the equalizer, the great equalizer. And then they lose in the 92nd minute. Hey, England! This is why you haven't won it all since 66. Not because it's so hard, yeah, in part, but because of stuff like that. A 1-0 lead in the 85th minute, and you allow the equalizer, and then you lose in the 92nd minute when this is like the best look you've had at it in decades?
Is the great equalizer.
And by the way, they're kind of, I want to say they're built for it, but clearly they're not. But they're way more built for it than we'll ever be. So if it's not going to happen for them, and apparently it's not going to happen for them because it hasn't happened for them since 1966, and they had a 1-0 lead into the 85th minute and they choked. If it's not going to happen for them, and incredibly talented squad in a much better league and the way it's built, how could it ever happen for us? It can't. It will never happen. Not in my lifetime, not in your lifetime, not in our children's lifetime, not in our grandkids' lifetime. The U.S. will never, ever win the World Cup. Because England, I don't think, will ever win the World Cup. When it was right there, that was their best look. I'm not saying they're going to beat Spain, but they were up 1-0 in the 85th minute against Argentina. And came from a head to tank. Man, now I am done. I am done. I thought I had an issue with it before.
Now I'm done.
Now I'm done. All right, so let's move on to things that matter. Namely, who has the more attractive women, Houston or LA? Not my topic. CJ Stroud. So this came up in a conversation, and CJ was asked the question, how about Houston women? How do they compare to LA women? And CJ apparently said, well, they don't.
LA, bro. It's not even close, bro. I love Houston, but
that's crazy. It's not even close.
It's not close, bro.
I want to apologize to all of my sisters from Houston, Texas, bro, on behalf.
And I can't go into detail for real. I don't want to. I want to do that.
Yeah.
But
you don't have to.
Long
you
story
said what
short,
you said, bro.
It's just like, you know, like being a California kid, you have pride about that. Like,
right.
You respect the hustle and the grind. You see the women go through where we're from.
Yeah.
I love Houston. Houston women are great, but for me, LA, bro, like, you can get a little bit of everything, bro. Out here, like, yeah, they got some varieties, but you can go to the Valley, you can go to the IE, you can go to LA, you can go to San Diego, you can go to Oakland. Like, it's so many spots you can hit. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just about women, just vibes in general.
Just vibes.
And one thing about LA girls, like, they real bougie. Houston girls are fake bougie. They don't know how to be bougie.
That's a thing.
You know, you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
My God, that's the thing. I don't know what you're talking about. He was all over the map. I like that part of the very end. Man, they're not bougie. They're not bougie.
What are we talking about?
What are we talking about here? Like the way he started off, he said, L.A., and it's not even close. L.A., and it's not even close. At that point, I was thinking to myself, you know what you really should say? And are you not saying this anyway? Houston, the women of Houston, and again, I didn't bring this up. I'm reacting to the clip I just heard. Compare the women of Houston to the women of LA, CJ Stroud, LA, and it's not even close. If you're offended by that in Houston, you know what he could have said? You know what I thought he was saying? the women of Rancho Cucamonga. No offense to the RC. The women of, never mind the women of LA. They don't even compare to the women of Rancho Cuc. But that's not what he said. And that would have made it so much worse. No offense, RC. But then he started going all over the map. He's like, hey, man, you know how it is. It's like LA. It's not just LA. It's like the IE. It's like the Valley. It's like Oakland. Wait, what? What's Oakland got to do with LA? Well, are we talking about LA? Oakland? Yeah, the Valley, the IE, LA, Oakland, Bismarck. Where are we going, dude? How did we get up into Northern California? But nothing against Houston. All right, so that's his take. Hey, Lorne, let me shoot on over to the XCR. I'm assuming that the camera didn't get fixed while I was away, but my man, you are Houston. Are you okay? And by the way, that's a Houston Texans game right there that Lorne was attending. Lorne, are you offended by what you heard from CJ Stroud?
Hi, Jim.
Hey, Lorne.
You know, I think whether it's right or wrong, I just don't like seeing us pit our beautiful queens against each other.
Is that true, Lorne? Because that's not what you told me during the break.
You know, I think you might be right, but I don't think it's something that needs to be said. I think we all kind of know it. I don't know why we're kicking people while they're down. Yeah.
Actually, dude, you handled that question a lot better than he did. Why? Well, and
he
by the
laughed.
way,
He laughed at the idea of the question. He was just like, "No, they're fake bougie."
Exactly. Like I would have liked to follow up on that. Like explain that, CJ. Like, what do you mean by that exactly? Like.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, you know. If you're an LA girl, you get taken out to Nobu and stuff, and if you're in Houston, I don't know, you just get taken to a food truck
but
or
it
whatever.
wasn't like just LA bougie. It was like IE, the Valley, Oakland.
Oakland?
What is exactly? What does Oakland have to do with this?
I have no. Did he say that?
Yeah, I thought he did. Can you run? You tell me. You
me
have the
get the
clip. Can you
clip
play it
back.
back? Let's hear. I thought I said Oakland.
LA, bro.
Hold on, Jim.
It's not even close, bro. I love Houston. But
That's crazy. It's not even close.
It's not close, bro.
I want to apologize to all of my sisters from Houston, Texas, bro, on behalf.
And I can't go in detail for real. I don't want to. I want to do that.
Yeah.
But
You don't have to.
long
You said
story
what you
short,
said, bro.
It's just like, you know, like being a California kid, you have pride about that. Like,
right.
You respect the hustle and the grind. You see the women go through where we're from.
Yeah.
I love Houston. Houston women are great, but for me, LA, bro, like you can get a little bit of everything, bro. Out here, like, yeah, they got some
LA
varieties,
makes sense.
you can go to the Valley, you can go to the IE, you can go to LA, you can go to San Diego, you can go to Oakland. Like, it's so many spots you can hit.
now.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying? It ain't just about women, just vibes in
like out
general.
here, you can go to LA, you can go to the Valley, you can go to the IE, you can go to Oakland, you can go to San Diego.
Thank God I can go to Oakland to pick up
Dude,
somebody.
San Diego is not LA. Oakland is not LA. Was it? The IE is not LA. The Valley's barely LA.
I guess Oakland's higher on the list than San Fran.
Yeah, Oakland. That was kind of weird to bring in. Like, he didn't even say Frisco. He said Oakland. Anyway, but what he's saying is everything's better than Houston. He didn't say LA is better. He's like, everything's better.
That's true. He was asked about LA, and then he started listing every single city in Southern California.
Or in California. Like,
True.
Hey, man, you can go to Stockton, you can go to Sacramento, you can go to Vallejo, you can go to Fontucky, you can go to Norco, you can go to Palm Springs, you can go to Tijuana, you can go to San Diego, you can go to Poway. You can pretty much go anywhere you want.
As long as it's not Houston.
As long as it's not Houston. Exactly. So bring me back to the very first point that you made, which was the best point. Why are we pitting our queens against one another, right?
I don't know, Jim. It makes me sick.
It makes you sick.
It makes me sick, dude, that we're pitting our beautiful queens against each other like this. There's no reason, man.
Lauren, you are smooth, bro. You are smooth, dude. You are the smoothest nerd I've ever met, Lauren.
Thank you. I'm at Leche Lauren on Twitter, by the way, ladies.
He's the best. What did I just say? He's the smoothest nerd I've ever met. By the way, I'm at Leche Lauren on Twitter, ladies. You mean on X? Anyway. Ladies, slide into at Leche Lauren on X. All right, so that's just a different perspective. CJ was just all over the map. Like I understand where he's going with that. Like the way he started, nothing against the ladies of Houston. I respect them. I love them. But, I'm going to represent where I'm from. And I understand how we all came up. He said, you have to understand how we came up. And he came up in the IE, the Inland Empire, Rancho Cucamonga. I get that. I respect that. But then when he starts talking about, that there's just, you go around LA and you get a little bit of everything. You go to the Valley. You go to the IE. You go to Oakland. Oakland is not LA. You go to San Diego. San Diego is not LA. San Diego is San Diego. That was just a weird, odd response. All right, so there was that. I've been meaning to get to that all week long. I'm glad that I finally got to that. I don't know, man. I'm a little more concerned about the football than I am the ladies, CJ. I know you were on a show and you were asked a question and you responded. I get that. I'm not saying that that's not your priority, but I am concerned about the football. Hey, man, are we going to say, like my guy Nick the Clone, I think we disagree with this. I don't think it's that far-fetched to say that CJ has a make-or-break year this year.
Well, I'm definitely a clone.
That's one of those things where Nick says, hey, Rome, you're mostly right. You're usually right. And that's Nick's classy way of saying you're not always right, bro. There's some things you say that I don't. I love the show. I love you. I love the clones. You're not always right. Like that part about this being a make-or-break year. But in the sense that you make the decision, Nick, then probably I should go with what you say. But from where I'm sitting, I think that CJ's having a make-or-break year.
That's right.
I think. Alvy agrees. That's why Alvy played that's right. The creepy, that's right.
That's right.
Dude, how smooth is Leche Lorne? I love the way he just slipped that in at the very end. Hey, ladies, I'm at Leche Lorne on Twitter. Yes, you are, Leche Lorne. Yeah. Got a couple of ballers in this house, and I ain't one of them. Neither is Tommy. Neither is that man bun in the back row, but Alvy and Leche Lorne. I wonder who rides shotgun for whom when those two hit the town. Hey, Alvy, I know you're a family man, but do you want to drop your handle the way Leche Lorne just? Nah, you can't do that. You're married. Leche Lorne's not.
That's right.
Leche Lorne's not. From the sounds of things, Leche Lorne is available. He's got game. You know what he's got? He's got a big ass brain, man. My man's part of the Big Brain Club. Leche Lorne might be the smartest guy ever to walk in this building, and we've had some pretty smart people. So ladies, why don't you hit him up? At Leche Lorne. His IQ is enormous. Dude, he's in the book club. Who doesn't want their man to be a part of a book club? Not only is he in the book club, he found a book club when we were in Frisco the week of Super Bowl. Nobody's ever done that before. Who finds a book club on the road? I know. Lauren, I have a theory about that. It wasn't about the book. It wasn't about the book, playa. It just wasn't. You weren't chasing books.
How play is that, man?
Chasing Tate. You were not chasing books. This wasn't about Dickens. This wasn't about Shakespeare. This wasn't about Fitzgerald. This wasn't about short stories. This wasn't about poetry. Different kind of poetry. I see you working. I see you working, legend. I can't believe you worked that in at the very end of that conversation. Hey, ladies, hit me up at Leche Lorne on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter. Post it up at Leche Lorne. Hey, Lorne, are you in your DMs right now? How many followers have you added since we had this conversation? I'd love to know. How many digits have you picked up since we had this conversation? There you go. There you go. I bet lots. Well played, playa. After all, Lorne, and I know you can read a calendar, it's hump day. All day long, Leche Lorne. Anyway, dude, he is smooth. That nerd is smooth, man. What a rap. Like I said, he's smart, really talented. ATPs. Can somebody ask the pros something? ATP. Ask the pros. Ask me, ask him, ask any of us anything you want. The ATPs are next.
You're listening to The Jim Rome Show.
Millar, Kevin, my brother, awesome to see you. How you doing, dude?
Jimmy, how you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing great. It is so good to see you, man. Great to have you on. Kevin, listen, before we talk MLB, you were at the American Century Golf Tournament over the weekend. Such an incredible event. For those who missed it, how did you do this time around? And can you give me a favorite moment or two?
Yeah, so Jimmy, let me just give you the facts, okay? And I just got a text from Brian Urlacher about an hour ago. He says, you played terrible. What in the hell happened to you? So I'll start off with this. Second hole, I'm with Vinny Del Negro, Derek Lowe. It's a drivable par 4. I've never not hit driver. And they hit 5 irons and 6 irons out in the front. You know, and I'm like, all right, these guys are good golfers. Let me just follow them today. I put my 6 iron in the ground, Jimmy. I haven't shanked the ball probably in 5 years. We've all done it. But I'm not even thinking. Whoop, straight shank, almost killed 3 people. They ducked. If you're looking at 12 o'clock, I hit my ball about 3 o'clock. So I'm trying to go down 12 o'clock. The ball went to 3, right over these guys' heads. I'm like, heads up. So I had the shanks, that one swing, double bogey, went to the par 3 where you win a Mastercraft. I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this. Jimmy Rollins won it last year. I went to take a swing, straight shank. So I start off my first 2 to 3 holes. I went straight right. Now I'm in my head. I'm thinking I ground out to shortstop for, 15 years. That's easy. I'll get over this thing. I didn't play good. I shot 82, 83, 87, finished in 37th place. I think Urlacher was in the top 15, so he's talking smack. We always have some fun. But, yeah, it was an unbelievable experience. It's a great week. Just having the family out there. I have my daughter's caddy for me, my 21-year-old and 16-year-old last day. But the favorite moment is definitely number 17. It's the greatest hole in golf. The boats, the weather was perfect. It's an amazing time that American Century puts on, and in the karaoke. Don't sleep on the karaoke. We sang Evan, Langley, choosing Texas. She's from Texas, I can tell by the way. So we had a blast.
It's a great event. It's a great event, man. And that's golf, right? That's what keeps bringing you back. It's golf. It's a great equalizer. You can never master it. I didn't know that Urlacher had that kind of stick. Now I do. Kevin Millar is joining us. So, Kevin, in terms of the All-Star game tonight, well, it's completely out of baseball's control, and there's so many good things about tonight, but let me start with the disappointing. How disappointing is it that Shohei is going to miss the game due to knee irritation and that The Miz will not pitch tonight?
Yeah, you're always the pitchers. It depends on what's going on and where they ended up. So that happens a lot. Ohtani not being here is probably not a good thing. Listen, everybody wants to see him. Everyone wants to say hi to him. I also get the 3 days off mentally just to kind of relax. But that's part of the scene, right? So that was a little disappointing if you're asking me personally. This guy, we haven't seen anything do what he's doing. And he's almost like an AI creature, right? So I think even the All-Stars that are here and players, like the one guy, if you can go over there and shake his hand and ask him like a routine or how do you do this? Because, I want you to understand, he doesn't take batting practice on the field all year long. I think it's 2 to 3 times a year. So you never see him on the field taking BP. He's got a routine behind the cages. And in whatever he does, I wish we can get a cheat sheet, including me and you, and just follow what it's kind of like the What Would Jesus Do bracelets. I always joked around. I always said, like, what would Jeter do? Now we can just do ones like, what would Ohtani do in the cages?
All right, let's get the ATP in here. Time to ask the pros. You submit a question, I or anybody on the crew will answer it, and it's always sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. Get the parts service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Yo, Tan Man, me and wifey are headed down the coast Sunday for some vacay and SB. Do you have recommendations on places to eat? What are some good beaches to post up at for day drinking, getting baked, and doing some open water swimming? Do you know of some good hiking trails? What are some bars to hit up at night? Thanks, Frisco Mario. Unwar having to leave BB Smalls behind while on vacay. Or Jake taking his pet cat with him to Eagle River. Mario, it's kind of weird and freaky that you knew that Jake did that because I didn't mention that. One more thing, Mario. Based on what you just asked me, would you like me to book the trip as well? Would you like me to make all of your reservations? Would you like me to chauffeur you and wifey around while you're there? Would you like me to first walk the hiking trail to see if it's fitting? Should I scout it out too? Damn, Mario. A restaurant recommendation would have been fine. Here's the thing. Love Santa Barbara, one of my favorite places in the world. I don't get up there very much, but I know that there's some institutions. Like there are some restaurants that have been there, that were there even when I was there in the 80s. They go way back, even further. I don't know if they're still good. You know how restaurants are? They have great seasons or great years, and then you go back and they're not always so great. I would tell you this. When Janet and I do go to Santa Barbara, one spot we would always go to, and I would go there before I met Jano. I would go there when I was in college. I would go there when I worked in the media. A famous restaurant. To be fair, and I don't want to disparage them because I haven't been there in years. There were years when it was one of my favorite restaurants ever, and line out the door, no reservations. The White House Corps used to go there when Ronald Reagan was president because he had a ranch up in Santa Barbara County. And then there were years when it was not so great, but a really fascinating place. Pricey. The Palace Cafe. I would go there. One of my guy Craig Kitchen's favorite restaurants, and he spent time in Santa Barbara. He actually worked there when he was young. He was a general manager at a radio station there. The Chase Bar and Grill. That was closed for a while, but it opened back up. That's a good way to go. I will tell you one bar you should go to, and it's the stiffest drink. I've mentioned this. I've never been to a bar anywhere in this country that pours drinks as stiff as this bar, which means you might get knocked out, Mario. Be careful. Joe's Cafe. It's on State Street, and I think it's been there actually since the 20s. It's a legendary bar. Legendary bar, and I've never seen a pour quite like that. So those are some restaurants. Palace, and pricey though. Maybe above your pay grade, Mario. The Palace Cafe, Chase, Joe's for drinks. You're on your own with the beach and the hiking trails. Let's see here. Hi, Jim. When does Jake Rome move to Brooklyn? And what will he be doing? Super exciting for him. Bellevue in Calgary. So Jake Rome is going to move next month. And Jake Rome is going to Brooklyn to chase the dream. He's a producer. And Jake Rome's feeling is, if I'm going to make documentaries and I'm going to be in production, I want to go where the action is. So he's been setting it up. He saved all his money. He's been making contacts. He's been networking. He bought his own equipment. He doesn't have a job per se, but he's just going to show up. He's got a place to live. He's got a roommate. The roommate's going to take the cat. And he's all about it. And I couldn't be more proud. I'm like, go get it, dude. Go get it. It's not coming to you. Jake loves the company he works for in Wisconsin. He loves Madison. But his feeling is, if I'm going to be in the space, I need to physically be in the space. So I'm just going to show up. I'm like, couldn't be more proud of you. Now is the time of life to do it. Let's see. Sodak Augie, ATP. Rome, when you hit the supper club in Wisconsin, do you have your brandy old fashioned, sweet or sour? No. I never have old fashions. DJ's all about an old fashioned. I never, ever, I don't think I've ever had an old fashioned. Ever. So I can't answer that. At 2 hams for $20. Ask the pros for the whole crew. All right, everybody, get ready to answer. This is for the whole crew. Team Cron or Team Sauce? That is awesome. Team Cron or Team Sauce? Excuse me. Tommy, you go first. Tommy, Team Cron or Team Sauce?
That's a toughie, but I think I'm Team Sauce.
Is it?
Yeah, it's tough.
I didn't think that'd be tough for you. I just thought you were Team Sauce.
I'm Team Sauce.
All right. Which means that you dabble in Team Cron. No judgment. It's cool.
I think much of the audience has figured that out. I don't quite go as hard as they think I do at all these concerts I go to, but they've figured out some things happen. Yeah. Things do happen from time to time.
I mean, like actual lettuce or edibles
Yeah,
or
exactly.
gummies?
I mean, back in the day, some actual lettuce, yeah.
Okay.
I know there's something
These
in
days,
that
yeah.
lettuce.
Got it.
We
All
have
right.
gummy method.
I got it. Makes sense. And then you can drink it too. I had a few cans.
It's weird. I don't really like drinking it, but yeah, you can do it. It's weird.
I did in Wisconsin. I agree. It's not my favorite thing. By the way, Team Cron's not my favorite thing.
I can see that.
I thought it would. I thought that I would take to it better than I have, but I haven't, and I've tried. All right, so that's Tommy's more Team Sauce than Team Cron, but he can play for both teams. Alvy, Team Cron or Team Sauce?
Team Sauce.
Yeah, Alvy's just like Team
Lost in the sauce.
Never Team Cron?
I mean, it's been a while. Same, yeah, Team.
You were Santa Cruz. I was Santa Barbara back in the day, right?
That's right.
That's right. Okay, but you know, it's gotten much better. It's much more engineered. It's much more potent. You haven't gone back? You haven't dabbled? Okay. Hey, Alex Hattie, we haven't touched base on this. Team Cron or Team Sauce?
I'd say in recent years I've swapped jerseys, so I'm on Team Sauce now.
How come?
Alex. Lost in the sauce.
What's that?
Why?
It just makes sense just to have it on the weekend and with the family and everything. Just easier to have,
Evolution,
an open
maturity. Okay. What kind of sauce?
We'll switch between like some beers, or I'll have like a glass of whiskey at the end of the night, like a pretty cheap scotch, something like that.
Okay, so your scotch. Scotch that's a whole different conversation. Is it seasonal for you, or can you drink it all year long?
Like a good occasion. It doesn't necessarily need to be a type of season, but if I have a reason to celebrate, it's easier to pour a small glass than to, I don't know, have 4 or 5 beers, something like that.
I got you. I see you working. All right. Hey, Lauren, let me jump you back in here. Unless you're in your DMs and you're overwhelmed by all your new digits, Team Cron or Team Sauce?
Hey, Jim, I can take a quick break.
Good. Thanks for taking a break from those new phone numbers. Team Cron or Team Sauce?
I had an edible once in college, and I thought that hell had come to this plane, and I sat in a chair for 8 hours just, like, in misery, thinking the world was ending. So
Dude, from one edible?
Good. What's up?
From one edible?
From one. It was like, I went to college in a cornfield in Ohio, so God knows what was actually in that thing, but...
Good point. So, obviously not Team Cron. Team Sauce?
On occasion.
Okay.
I dabble.
Okay, got it. There you go. You sound like Team Clean. You sound like Team Neither, which I really respect. Nice job, dude. Go back to your digits. That was good ATP, actually. That was well done. Well played. At 2 hams for $20. Now, bro, tell us where you can get 2 hams for 20 bones. Now that we have all put our cards on the table, you put yours out there and let us know. Where can we purchase 2 hams for $20? O'Reilly Auto Parts can help take the guesswork out of your vehicle's check engine, ABS, or maintenance light with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today. It's a good, solid show. My thanks to Micah Nori, head coach of the Portland Trailblazers. Levante David, former All-Pro linebacker and a Super Bowl champ. The XR4TI and you clones. Nice job. Good show for you tomorrow. Big day. We've got our FanDuel segment. James Kelly and I will have our beef segment. Take part in that. We're going to try and run down Rex Hoggard. We're talking about the Open Championship. Rex always makes it work. See you tomorrow. We're out.